Hello beautiful people, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Modular and this is Casper Chaps, where we talk all things interior design to home and everything in between. Today I'm going to be talking about 10 things that are definitely dating your house. Have you ever been in a space which you can't just put your finger around, but things just seem a little bit old? Well, I'm here to break things down and help you modernize your space and make them look a little bit in the moment. Let's go. 1. This first one is a little bit hard for me to blurt out because I know it's a favorite in people's homes, but honestly, signage needs to go. Aren't we just over it when we get into a bathroom or a living room and we see this huge signage telling you which part of the house you are or where exactly you are? Welcome to our sandy beach vibes. Or in this family we observe the 7 rules: greet each other, always be kind, be forgiving. I mean, I get the concept, but we're just over it, and I think it's time we both safely ease ourselves out of that stuff. If you're really keen on displaying something in your home, then here are some alternatives that are a bit more updated and in the moment. So you can hang personalized art or even family pictures, and the beautiful thing about that is that you can make beautiful gallery walls which portray your personality and also can show a little bit of who you are and what your memories are, and people can equally find that interesting rather than the signage. If you're into something more plain, you can also go for abstract art, which you can buy in a store or even DIY on yourself. These are all simple ways to add character and personality in your space at a low budget. 2. Heavy drapes and curtains. Honestly speaking, I am a fan of window treatments. I think it's a really great way to add character and personality into a space, but also to add your space and make it really put together. But on the heavier side of things, with all the drapes and all the pelmet covers, that really belongs in your grandmother's house. In fact, it doesn't even belong there. Now, okay, you are attached to your drapes. You don't want to rip them out and just throw them away. And I know that most of them were really expensive, but you could maybe look for other ways to make use of that material. Perhaps you could donate it or recycle it as some sort of cover for an old chair, or just store it away for another purpose. Lately, the rising trend is that people really want to have that indoor-outdoors living by having more sunlight into their spaces and also having an outside view. But with the heavy drapes and all the curtains, it makes it a little bit difficult for you to see the sun. And after 2 years of having the pandemic and counting, I have to say it's important that your space has a lot of sunlight so that we have that uplifted mood and we don't get depressed. So honestly, I would take it easy on the heavy drapes. 3, that yellowish beige color which is somewhere in the home, in the hallways or maybe in the kitchen. Especially that beige orangey color that was common in living rooms and kitchens and even hallways. Honestly, we are over it. It is dating your house and it makes it look like it belongs in the 70s. What you can do is to just freshen up your space by painting everything white. This is no-brainer, and white is a neutral color, meaning it will blend evenly with everything. That color doesn't really help your interiors because it's most likely that you painted it without taking any consideration on how the space is like. What amount of sunlight do you have? Is it a warm space or is it a cool space? Is the sun in the south or in the west or in the north? All these are factors that you have to take into consideration before choosing a paint color. But what did we do? We just blindly painted all our walls this yellow-orange color, and it looks terrible. But if you're really into colors and don't want everything to feel so crisp and sanitized, then consider which colors work according to the color theory and how your room is orientated. The monochromatic look. I know. Some people just don't really like colors and they're not too sure how to go about with mixing colors, so they just prefer a simple monochromatic look. But thing is, it looks kind of flat and it really does lack dimension. I mean, you don't have to make your interiors look sad and without life, but there are small elements that you can introduce into your space to really transform it instantly. A tip that you can use is to utilize some warm materials like gold or wooden tones to introduce that warmth into the space and make it look a bit more cozy and homey and lived in. Another idea to add interest and variety into an all-white interior is by varying the form and shape of the furnitures. Instead of having a rectangular couch and a rectangular coffee table and a rectangular TV console, why not vary the shapes and the sizes of the different pieces of furniture? If you have a rectangular couch, you might want to bring in a round coffee table to soften the edges and make it look a bit more thought through than having everything being the same shape. 1,000 pictures on the walls. I'm sorry, I had to say it. I know we love curating our memories and showing them, and how so nostalgic it is when we walk through a wall and we see some things that we used to do a couple of years ago. I get it, but we can do it in a tasteful way. There's no need to fill an entire wall with pictures because that looks very cluttered and, honestly speaking, disorganized. What you can do instead is to think about the memories which are most important to you and display those instead in bigger form. That is more modern and sleek and really reduces the visual weight, and it also makes you easy to process all the information which is available to you on a wall. If you insist on having a lot of pictures in your space, that's your choice. That's totally fine, but you can do it in a tasteful way, meaning restrict it to one wall and let everything in the surroundings of that gallery wall be simple and articulate so that it doesn't weigh heavy on the eye and give you too much information to process at the same time. The wrong rug. I have said this and I will say it again until this is changed. A wrong rug will really make your space look dated. Gone are the days when we really had small rugs which only shaped the width of the coffee table. Honestly, what this does is it creates boundaries in your mind and makes you recognize the space as being smaller since it is cut up into different spaces. What you want to do though is to unify the space by using a bigger rug which at least fits the first 2 feet or legs of the furniture should be sitting on top of the rug. And this will really unify and make the composition united and make it look like it belongs together. The problem with smaller rugs, which really just span the width of the table, is that they create boundaries within the space, thus cutting up your space into smaller pieces. And if you have a small room, it makes it even feel smaller because your mind is really restricted to the boundaries of that carpet. High contrasting colorful rugs are also a disservice to you because they also create boundaries in the space, making your brain color code the room according to the colors that it can obviously see. For a really modern look, you want to avoid the shaggy carpet. Granted, you really don't want to lose an earring into a shaggy carpet because all the best in finding it. But now what you want to buy are low pulp carpets which are easy to maintain and are far more fashionable these days. Lighting fixtures. Honestly, this light reminds me of a certain body part. Let me know in the comment section below if you and I are onto the same frequency. Honestly, nothing says dated more than this light. Not only is it made out of frosted glass, which means that the light cannot permeate the glass, making it very damp and dull, which is definitely not what we want. As I said earlier, we want that indoor-outdoor living, so you really want as much light as you can in your space. If you're in a rented space, don't be scared to switch that out. It's actually one of the most easiest things you can do to upgrade the look of your space. You can simply switch it out when you're leaving. Modular furniture. Unless of course you want to make your house look like a furniture store, you really don't want to have modular furniture anymore. It dates your space, and usually it was made out of this orangey toned wood, which is really belonging in the 70s. If you don't know what to do with your modular furniture, you can think of disassembling it and distributing into other areas of your home rather than having it all in one area. For example, if you have a TV console which looks like this, what you can do instead is to remove the upper cabinets and just leave the lower cabinets, which gives you a more modern look. Dirty tile grouting. If you can clearly see the grout lines on your tiling, that means you must have had it done a long time ago, because the current trend is to have that seamless look which doesn't show the grout line. The way they achieve that these days is by either using a tiling technique which brings the tiles really close together, or by using colored grout. So if you really don't have the budget to rip out the entire tiles and redo it, there are ways that you can do to upgrade the look and make it look modern. Firstly, you can use resistant floor paint to paint everything into one uniform color. If you're looking for other doable alternatives, you can also use colored grout over the current grout just to unify it with the color of the tile so that that surface is uniform and doesn't look broken or create boundaries when you look at it. The easiest route that you can go would be to use heavy duty cleaner to restore the color of the grout to its original color. But do note that you will have to periodically do this from time to time, as it's not a permanent solution. Honestly, I would encourage you to save for a more modern look, which will really upgrade the look of your house.